Thank you for joining us again, scholars. Today we're going to continue working on our clicker game. Specifically, we will be building out one of the upgrade buttons for our shop section. So before we begin, let's quickly go over what we've done so far. So we've created a simple animation every time we click, and, and some of us even added a sound. If you have not added a sound, you may want to use the start sound instead of play sound, because the play sound will play the sound completely before it'll play the sound again. The start sound will replace the existing sound as you click, so it's it's much better. With that being said, every time we click, the points variable increases by 1. And then we have this shop button here. When we click the shop button, you'll see that it's going to go to a different background. The shop button and the basketball here will be hidden. And then we will show the return button. And then when we click the return button, we go back to the game section, and the return button will be hidden, and the other ones will be shown. All right, fantastic. So the next step is to create a new button. So we're gonna go here, search for button, and actually let's choose a different style. Again, you guys can, this is where I want you to choose, use your own creativity. But so the first set of code we need to add when to show and when to hide it, right? So in terms of when the backdrop switches to game and when the backdrop switches to shop. And again, this button, we only want to show it when we go to the shop section. So we will show it when we go to the shop, and then we're gonna hide it when we go to the game. All right, very good. Now let me add some text to my button here. So this is gonna be +1 for the clicker, which means that whenever we purchase this upgrade, it's just our clicker value is going to add 1 to it. So right now, every time we click, it's +1. But when we do this upgrade, every time we click, it'll give us 2 points. Let me change the color so it's easier to read, and that's much better. So +1 clicker, and then I'm going to also put the amount of points needed to purchase. So 50 points. Make this a bit smaller. Let me just type out the whole entire word. Okay. Very good. Maybe a different color for this. Yeah. All right, I like the look of that. All right, so in other words, in order to purchase this, I need 50 points. So we need to address that in our code. So let's head over to code. The first thing we need to do is add an event. So when the button is clicked or when the sprite is clicked, what we want to do is check if we have enough points. And the way we do that is that we're going to add an if statement here. The if statement is going to check, again, if we have 50 points or more. And the way we do that is that we have to use an operator, and we're going to use the AND function here to be super precise with what we're going to do. So, and then we're going to add this condition. We're going to check for 2 conditions, this condition and also this condition as well. In other words, we're going to check if points is greater than 50. Actually, instead of the and, we have to use the or. And I'll explain why in a second. We have to make sure that one of these conditions are correct. If we were to use the and, we would have to make sure that both of these conditions are true, but we only need one, whether it's equal to 50 or greater than 50. And what we're speaking about is specifically the amount of points. Let me get rid of these variables because we don't need them just yet. Okay, so if points is greater than 50, which it is, or if it's equal to 50. Again, and we need that equals just because if we have exactly 50 points, we should be able to purchase the upgrade. What we want to do at this point is we want to deduct the points. So we're going to change points by 50, right? So negative 50, sorry, because that's how much the upgrade costs. So let's check it and let's see if it works. Good. So it does work so far. Then what we need to do is find a way to update the click value. And what I mean by that is every time we click here, instead of going up by 1, it's going to go up by 2. And the way we do that is whenever we have to make changes to a value or keep track of a certain value, we will need a variable. In this case, we're going to need another variable. So we need to make the click value variable. And this is going to keep track of all the upgrades and the value of each click, right? So what we're going to do here is change the click value by 1, and that should increase my click value plus 1. And then let's give a message to the user stating that the upgrade was complete. Let's do +1 upgrade complete. And if this is false, meaning that we have less than 50 points, and let me just run this again. If I try to do this, we have to also give the user a message, basically an error message stating they do not have enough points. So not enough points. And if we click here, it's gonna say not enough points, right? Not enough points. Very good. So let's get up to exactly 50. Let's get up to 49 and test it out. Not enough points. Now let's go to 50, go back to this. Now, since we added this section here, points equal to 50, it should work and my click value should increase by 1. Very good. So now when I go back, the issue that I'm having is that points, it's only being updated by 1, even though the click value is 2. And this case is because it's right here. This particular code block needs to be changed because we're going to continue changing points by 1. But what we want to do is change the points by the value of click value, or by click value. And then what we would do is just grab the variable and place that in there. Once we do that, every time we run an upgrade, all we have to do is upgrade the value of click value, and then it should work. So now if I click this again, you're gonna see it's gonna go up by 2. So it should be 17, 19, 21. Perfect. So let me get back up over 50 and do another purchase in the shop. And now my click value should be a value of 3. And if I return, you're gonna see that the points after a click, it's gonna go up by 3 now. So I should have 12 points after 1 click. Let's test it out. Perfect. 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. Fantastic. Now, one last thing before we wrap up this video. At the beginning, when the green flag is clicked, we need to also set the click value to 1 at the beginning of the game. So when we reset the game, we press the green flag, click value is 1. And let me get up to 50 to run the upgrade. And as you can see, we're changing the points by click value, which is the value of 1 right here. Now when I do the upgrade, click value is 2. And now, since I added this section here earlier in the video, every time we click on our basketball, or in your case, your clicker, it's gonna update by the value of click value. So every time we run an upgrade, we have to make sure that we're updating the click value. Okay? Excellent work, guys. I can't wait to see how your games are turning out. If you do want to continue adding more upgrade buttons, which is going to be the next video, I can explain that quickly. What you may want to do is just duplicate this, right? So now you have 2 of these buttons in the shop. Change the text and change the code appropriately, and that's going to allow you to have or create multiple upgrade buttons quickly. And again, instead of a +1, you may want to do a +2. So you would have to update the messages, change the value of how much it's going to cost, change the click value by a certain amount, etc. All right, great job, you guys.